Greetings and welcome back to my Valheim Hardcore series. Today we're going to get stuck into it straight away. We are off into this swamp area. There is quite a lot of it we haven't explored yet, and there is quite a lot of denizens that we need to introduce to our new gear. So let's get the action started off here. Rather than starting from the bog witch and kind of radiating our way out from there, we've elected to actually start at our base end, so where our shiny new castle is. We're starting at that end and we're going to work our way through the swamp, and we are just going to pillage everything that is even remotely close to being pillageable along the way. Now, 1-star troll, I normally might need a bit of a change of underwear at this stage, because in my previous 2024 playthrough I did have a very unfortunate circumstance involving a 1-star troll. Luckily in this instance, that 1-star troll had already been chewed to within an inch of its life by the locals, and as you saw, very quick and easy to dispatch. Now, we may have gotten underway a bit prematurely. We were missing a couple of items that we needed to have with us. One of those was, of course, our key, so we can get into dungeons. Now, we're not actually going to run any dungeons at this stage, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock any that I come across, so that when it comes time to do a dungeon or 2 or 5, as the case may be, they'll already be open, which means it's one less thing I need to take with me at the time. So that leaves an inventory slot free, and obviously the opportunity for more fat loots. Now, this upgraded gear, so full suit of upgraded as far as we can upgrade it at the moment, of iron armor, is a massive improvement for dealing with swamp-based critters. We saw there with the 1-star Draugr, honestly, not much different to dealing with a normal one at this stage, so very happy about that. And part of that is not just the gear. We're actually taking advantage of the fact that we had some serpent kills, and we are actually running serpent stew, cooked serpent meat, and then turnip stew for our stamina. So at the moment, our max health is well beyond what we would have if we were just dealing with our regular fare that you would normally get as part of the swamp. On average, those hit point foods, so the 2 serpent foods, those are probably about 20 health each, possibly more, than running, what would it be, sausages and blood pudding, or blood stew I should say, or black stew, I don't know, it's something, pudding or you know, black or whatever. We are well ahead of where we would be, and honestly, once you've got a little bit of iron, I think your first effort should be to go out and hunt a few serpents, get some meat, make some serpent stew, cook some serpent meat, which you got to do for the stew anyway, but keep some separate so that you can have both kinds of serpent food going at the same time. And honestly, this is just such an upgrade. So much so that, look, we're going toe-to-toe here with an abomination, and honestly, I'm not that fazed by how hard he's hitting me. Combination of having so much food means we're not even getting close to getting staggered, but also we've got our serpent shield. Even though it's not upgraded, the block value of it is just nuts. Long story short, get everything serpent as soon as you're able, and it's just easy sailing from that point forward. In fact, I think the next thing that's going to be a challenge for us might be if we run across any Draugr elites that are, we'll say, 1 or 2 star variants, I think they will test this gear quite heavily. Anything less than that, at least as far as a swamp is concerned, I'm not stressing it at all. So with my introduction sort of discussion out of the way, we're going to let you enjoy, question mark, this lovely prolonged combat with an abomination. Alright, so we do start taking a few hits here when the couple of Draugr joined the fight, and that definitely made us pause a little bit. As our food had worn down, a couple of the abomination hits were actually staggering us, but with how slow the abomination swings, that's not a big problem if the abomination is the only thing that's attacking you. But with the couple of Draugr showing up, that was going to start to be a bit of a concern. But there we go. We got the job done. We got our fat loots, and we survived, which is the key and important detail. So with that little windfall out of the way, it's time to move on. Yeah, as we push in deeper here, close to where we've already explored next to the bog witch, There is the usual array of Draugr and leeches and blobs and all that other good stuff. Yeah, none of it is particularly that much of a challenge at this stage. I did locate a muddy scrap pile. I mean, these things do exist in the swamp, but you don't come across them very often visible like this. Normally you've got to use other methods to, detect whether they're here or not. But it's always a bit of a bonus when you can find one that's out and about like that. I may come back and mine that at a later date. I might not. Generally, you don't get a lot of iron out of them, but iron is iron. Oh dear, a big scary 2-star skeleton. Never mind. Not really a problem anymore. What is potentially a big problem is it's kind of, it's nighttime. And we are very close to a Draugr spawner in the swamp. Now, I'm not sure what the chances are of any particular variant of Draugr spawning, but if we get anything elite that's 1-star or more, or maybe even just a 2-star vanilla Draugr, we are potentially going to be in a lot of strife. So I do focus on destroying the spawner first, and luckily we only got a couple of regular Draugr spawn in whilst we were doing that. So I'm going to call that a bit of a lucky escape. There certainly was a much higher potential of some problems, in terms of undesirable spawning. Now, that was part of the reason why I pre-opened the door to that dungeon, because it was within dashing distance. And if we did get something that was really big and scary, we could always run into the dungeon and just ride out the clock there. Thankfully, that wasn't anything that was a necessity. Something that is a necessity is we're going to need more chains. You don't need a lot of chains with your various upgrades for the kitchen and the forge, but you do need a few. And at the moment, I've pretty much used up all the chains that we got during the live stream, so I actually need more. So anytime I'm out and about in the swamp, I'm going to be trying to be in the swamp at night, which is when it's a bit on the dangerous side, but more so that I can find these wraith and kill them so I can get their chains. Thankfully, we were able to deal with that guy without too much trouble. We do have a couple of skeletons here that are, quite frankly, just being annoying, but we're going to deal with those now as well. Tidy up our loot and then carry on with our exploration. I can't remember which rule that is in Zombieland. The one that says always know your way out. Yeah, look, these are only normal Draugr, but it's very easy in the swamp. I mean, it's not nighttime anymore. We had the sun coming up, but it's very easy in the swamp, particularly if you're pushing an area of the swamp that you haven't been into before. It's easy for things that go bump in the day, night, and everywhere in between to sometimes creep up on you while you're not particularly paying attention, and essentially turn the tide of battle very quickly. So having an out like a crypt or something like that you can retreat into is always, I'll say, a good safety tip. Now, as exciting and amazing as the area in this particular bit of swamp around the Bog Witch was, I mean, look, there's a couple of crypts, there was an abomination, there was a Draugr spawner, there was a whole bunch of stuff down in that sort of area of this swamp. Once we get down past these two additional crypts that we located, yeah, I've got to say, other than an abundance of skeletons, Draugr, and slimes, there really wasn't that much to see down here, because this is where the swamp sort of narrows down a little bit. And when the swamp is, you know, less than a certain amount of size, just like a lot of other biomes, when the area is smaller than, you know, like a bare minimum, you won't get the extra stuff spawning in. So in the case of the swamp, that usually means crypts and things of that nature. So I did fully expect to just not really find much of anything down this end of the swamp, but you don't know. Look, occasionally, sometimes the system, when it generates the map, it'll just go, you know what, you can have yourself a crypt in there, and, you know, that's great when that happens, but yeah, didn't really happen this time. So we've reached the end of this part of the swamp, and I saw this tower up here, and I thought, maybe that's got a Draugr spawner in it. I thought it's close enough to the swamp, it's possible. But yeah, minor spoiler, it doesn't. It's just got some skeletons in it, but I'm kind of bored of skeletons at this stage. I am curious about what might be in the chest at the top of the tower, so that's what we set about doing. Because, yeah, who cares about skeletons at this point? I've had my run-ins with skeletons, but now I've got my shiny iron gear. These guys, I don't even want to give them the time of day, to be brutally honest. So we barge our way past all the skeletons, and we find, yeah, a bit of cash, some feathers, and some arrows. I won't say no to that. So we're just going to run out of this tower, and we're just, at this stage, we're just going to loop back and head back towards base, because our bags are kind of full. They've been kind of full for most of the time that we've been out and about. Mostly the swamp, there's just so much variance in the types of loot. It's pretty hard not to have all of your bag slots taken up by what you're finding, but yeah, it's all good. It's all for a good cause. So yeah, we'll see you back at the base in a moment. here we are back at base. Really not much to report on the way back. It's just more of the same. Knocked off a few Draugr, a few skeletons, a few leeches. That's pretty much it. It was a good run though. We ended up with getting a lot of blood bags, a lot of entrails, and a lot of other quite useful things that we're going to find we'll have an increasing need for down the track. So all of that is a win as far as I'm concerned. Other things that are a win, look, anytime you guys have thoughts or suggestions, you're always welcome to leave a comment down below. Other than that, we've reached the end of the episode. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you have yourself an absolutely fantastic day.